This episode of Total Drama Reviews contains clips from Total Drama World Tour. I do not own Total Drama World Tour. All rights go to FreshTV. Remember to be civil and do not be me in the comments. Seriously, it can get really messed up. Carpe diem, my name is Ultranatic, and this is Total Drama Reviews. This is where I, the lover of animation, reality shows, and music, look over the show and combine them together the best. And we're crashing in the Caribbean in today's episode, Jamaica Me Sweat. An awful pun for an awful episode. Yeah, let's not be around the bush here. This episode is a candidate for my worst list this season. And that's kind of a shame because it should be the merciful end to an arc I've shown great disdain for, DJ's animal curse, and the downfall of Team Victory. I've been begging for the storyline to end, and it finally does. And it surprisingly still pisses me off. I suppose that was inevitable. I wasn't going to like the ending of this regardless, just because the plot had left a bunch of disgustingness level taste in my mouth from the start. But oh god, I didn't expect to hate it this much. So with all that said, is there nothing salvageable in this episode? Well, get out your Rastafarian hat. I still can't believe that happened. This is Jamaica Me Sweat. That pun doesn't get any better, does it? We open in first class with DJ and Team Chris buying overtime for the win in Newfoundland.
Winning really is everything,
says the guy who Frenched a cod.
And P.S. it was a tie. Ever since I won in Newfoundland, I'm starting to feel like I could win this whole thing.
Okay, so we know DJ is going home this episode. There's no question about it. What I especially hate about it here is not just how obvious they make it. No, seriously, they hammer it in so much I think Thor is feeling insecure. But they actually tease us with the possibility of him staying in the competition. And in a way that would kind of fit the show's narrative.
DJ is the only remaining member of Team Victory, but we're prepared to welcome him as a full-time member of our team, if you'll allow it.
Looking for a numbers advantage over Team Amazon, eh? No dice.
What if DJ chooses to swap teams, like Sierra and Izzy did in Egypt?
No more swaps, and that's final.
It's okay. The teams are probably going to merge soon anyway.
Wrong. Combo over, Chris out.
Yeah, because Chris decides to be a douchebag again.
Everybody hates Chris.
DJ is stuck by himself, so Alejandro will make it his mission to get him out just to keep the streak going.
Why are you being so nice to him? He's all alone. I feel a certain kinship.
Now, had he switched to Team Chris, would Alejandro do the same thing there? Probably, and I wouldn't like it there either.
Thanks to my lucky charm, Irene. Can you believe she lifted my curse? I know, it's amazing. As long as she's okay, I'm golden.
The problem isn't just the blatant foreshadowing of his elimination, but the fact that it doesn't make the game more interesting. There has to be some level of spontaneity to this season. That's what makes the best Survivor season so great. But the difference between this and that is not just that Total Drama is animated, but that's scripted. I'm not saying that Survivor is 100% authentic, because it's not, but the majority of what happens in that show is real. They might condense stuff down and make it flow better, or use some other editing tweaks to add to the show's narrative, but for the most part, nothing about the gameplay in Survivor is pre-planned, but everything in Total Drama is. I know Team Victory shares similarities to other Survivor tribes who lost most, if not all, immunities, but like I said, those were organic. They didn't plan for teams to lose consistently, it just kind of happened. And even if it got predictable, it was still kind of astonishing how frequently these teams lost. That's what kept our intrigue. Team Victory losing so much doesn't shock me. If anything, it bores me. It is so freaking formulaic.
As long as you all brought your rewards across the finish line, there will be no elimination tonight.
I lost the stick.
Wow, sucks to be you. Who bit the biggest?
Those guys with that sad donkey thing. You lose. You're sending someone home tonight.
Team Victory crossed the finish line without Bridget, so they come in last. Team opposite of Victory, you're voting someone out. And this week's losers are, not at all ironically anymore, Team Victory.
I'm not saying the boot order should be absolutely different from what we got, but there is a way you could have added variety to the mix here. How so? Just make it a two-team season like the first two. No, seriously, what was the point of there being a third team at all? Again, Survivor does this a lot, but they did that because they realized a third team made things more exciting.
What do you make about seeing 3 tribes, not the normal 2?
Panic. You've only got, right now, we've only got 5 teammates. If you're the losing tribe but going to tribal council, there's going to be a lot of panic going on real quick.
It's kind of like watching a 2-player game of chess versus watching a 4-player game of chess. There's so many other factors now that of course the conflict is going to be more intense. But here, what difference would it have been if Team Victory's members had just been put on the other team? Heck, Lashana, Bridget, and Lindsay could have been put on Team Amazon if they wanted to keep the concept of an all-women's team.
Hey!
I stand by that statement. And if anyone says they did this so there be more development of Alejandro and Heather's rivalry and their dominance in their own teams, hey, here's a crazy idea. Why don't you just do that with 2 teams anyway? Wouldn't that have been more impressive to see Alejandro manipulate another team for so long with no one figuring it out at all until it was too late? Maybe he keeps Heather around on Team Amazon as a shield against himself, and maybe that would be where she forms feelings for him.
I know you messed with Lashana, and Bridget too, probably. You are just lucky you didn't try anything on me.
But with the temptation of a kiss, even you can resist me forever.
I mean, their current dynamic is good too, but are you starting to see what I'm talking about? This different direction would have either kept the elements that made Total Drama World Tour so great the same, or who knows, make them even better. Now, would it be a touch unrealistic for Hera to survive the guillotine so many times? No less realistic than how much it happened in the first season.
The last marshmallow goes to Heather. This is the final marshmallow tonight, Heather.
You are all lucky, okay? Very lucky.
The final marshmallow goes to Heather.
You heard him. Vote of losers. That away. Oh, and look, an invincibility pass. Lucky me.
Why don't we vote Heather off? She's got dirt on all of us, dude. Because we can't. She's got invincibility again.
Yeah, well, I guess I have 9 lives.
So this entire rant about the format of these teams is to show that Team Victory's continuous losses were a lazy screenwriting choice. They took 0 risks in showing it, and now it kind of feels like they're boasting this laziness right out of the gate. I hope you can see where this episode lost me completely. Well, another subplot that happens in this episode is Owen decides to break up with Izzy. Not entirely sure how serious the relationship is in the first place, but she did kick him in the crotch, and this isn't the first time her antics have caused damage to his groin, so who am I to argue with his judgment here?
Why is it always the Kiwis?
Are we out of gas?
Yeah, because you spent all our gas.
Attention, passengers.
Izzy, we need to talk. I'm okay. I'm okay. Oh, great gobs of chutney, that smarts.
Perfect landing. Not even a scratch.
Okay, time for another CLR, aka Criticism Lightning Round. First, if you want more everybody hates Chris moments, yes, the plane crashing this time is 100% his fault.
We're out of gas, plane's busted, and we're broke. We were supposed to land in Ochos Rios, but since somebody forgot how to glide...
You blew our money for the season on Chris' word.
Didn't you guys budget for the whole season?
Some things cost more than expected. Airplane-ready hot tubs don't grow on trees, you know.
Yep, he's responsible for the plane's, what, 4th crash now? And he doesn't seem the least bit sorry, worried, or remorseful for the damage he just caused.
Everybody hates Chris.
Second, Owen and Trent must each have an adamantium skeleton because how did both of them survive falls from that high without a parachute to slow their descent? In fact, while I already have to count the plane crashing as another plus 13 for what would have killed the contestants, Chris and Chef here, my leg! Let's add another point just for Owen's fall because how he's still moving is a GD miracle. My leg! Third, ignoring how he and Izzy would live after the plane fell on them, how the heck did he come out with just a concussion and no other physical damage?
No biggie, just a concussion.
Look at Izzy after the fact. Her head's the size of Jimmy Neutron. cats, which I guess is fitting given what happens to her. And yet Owen looks exactly the same?
That sounds like really lazy design work.
And fourth, remember when Owen's jaw got busted in total drama action by Chef, and the show got scared out of their pants he might sue them? Heck, they even used that incident as the fake excuse for why he returned later in the season?
I had to file a lawsuit to get back on this show.
Owen also filed a lawsuit and won. His jaw was busted by Chef, and he was unfairly kicked off the show.
Well, continuity's for chumps, because that level of concern is nowhere to be found here. In fact, after a quick trip to the infirmary, he's completely fine. Oh, for Christ's sake, even Cody's injuries in the first season didn't heal that quickly. Is the show really giving so little of a crap to this that they didn't bother to double check their notes? I know it's a cartoon, I shouldn't be taking it this seriously, but if these moments were enough to hospitalize someone, like actually hospitalize them, then how the heck did all of this have all the damage of a paper con this cast? I'm just saying, I expect better from the show given the pedestal it's on the field of anime reality shows. Okay, a few positives. Owen's confessional after getting crushed is pretty funny.
Can you parents my phone and worry them not to tell Santa?
And Courtney showing genuine distress for Owen and Izzy's well-being is refreshing. And in keeping with her character, I guess they do keep track of some things. Oh, speaking of Izzy.
I wanted to break up with her and the plane broke her up. It's like I made it happen with my mind.
Owen, I've devised a mathematical formula for infinite time travel.
Okay, this I can buy. Obviously that wouldn't happen IRL, but this is where the cartoon logic part of my brain kicks in. I take the injury seriously because with rare exceptions, the contestants move realistically enough that if the show was live action, not much would be lost. But someone banging their head and becoming super smart? Please. They did in Laurel and Hardy. It doesn't feel sporting to mock that cliche here. But alright, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this storyline.
I like to call our first challenge the treasure hunt of death.
Or we could wait a bit, I guess. Yeah, after we cut to Chris wearing more embarrassing cultural garb.
Pretty blouse.
It's a dashiki, man.
Yeah, a woman's dashiki.
What?
We see another cliff diving challenge, which I won't count for casualties. That cliff looks relatively short. And in this challenge, they must avoid sharks and electric eels in search of a makeshift treasure. DJ comes prepared with his life jacket. Okay, that's a good move. And he and Team Chris will have to pick up the slack given they're short on teammates compared to the Amazons.
With Izzy and Owen out of commish, you'll have to work extra hard to make up for their absence.
No problem. Tyler, it's your lucky day. You get to do all the dives.
Yeah! Wait.
Tyler, Noah, you never disappoint me.
Luckily, I don't need Tyler for his brains. I'm still not exactly sure what I need him for, but it's definitely not brains.
Oh well, Alejandro will need him for something that few people could have predicted, if any. So the challenge begins with highlights including some comedic misfires from Tyler.
Woo! I got the change! Oh no!
My leg! Cody getting punched underwater by one of the sharks. Yeah, count it. My leg! It's a shark and he can't breathe. I can imagine that being as bad as being mauled by a bear. And Heather being thrown off by Alejandro's compliments.
You have beautiful form.
What?
Nothing personal!
By the way, fun fact, of all the contestants present in this challenge, the only person to never once hit the water is Courtney. Must be her condition.
What condition?
A condition that prevents me from jumping off cliffs?
There's not even a reason for that, but it's a funny callback all the same. Gwen ends up finding a chain, only for it to be robbed by Alejandro, only for it to be robbed again by Heather, thus earning the Amazons the win for this portion of the challenge.
Nothing personal!
I suppose I earned that.
We did it!
By the way, were Alejandro's tactics underhanded? Yeah, but A, he's the villain, and B, he did save Gwen's life from electric eels. You can cut him some slack for that. My leg!
Will Chef fix the plane so we can leave here while I'm still young?
I don't know, did we land in the 70s?
Find out after the break, right here on Total Drama World Tour. Hey, where's my musical accompaniment?
My leg! This is a very bad episode, but 20 points for that scene right there. That's 1 point for every second that gold medal comedy gave us. So Gwen gets sent to the infirmary. Yeah, her and no one else who got her in that challenge. As Owen explains his and Izzy's predicament.
The sand broke my fall, and I broke the plane's fall. And when the plane hit Izzy's head, Doc says it fixed a blockage in her brain.
Synthesis equals teleportation. Of course. This will render aeronautics obsolete.
And just when you think we're going to get more of this here...
The army?
Say goodbye, Izzy. We're airlifting you home for special treatment.
Izzy's leaving the competition? Oh, Izzy, why did I ever want to break up with you?
Logic. We are incompatible, ergo the relationship must end. Adieu.
What? Wait!
Okay, I need another CLR, aka Criticism Lightning Round, just to sort out my thoughts on this cluster of an exit. 1, the Canadian Army comes to pick Izzy up. Do we ever get confirmation that the show was okay with this? I mean, I guess the Armed Forces of Canada have a little higher authority than Chris McLean, but still feels weird for that to just happen. 2, Izzy just goes with them willingly? What happened to "You'll never take me alive"? But then I have to remind myself, oh yeah, her head was crushed by a plane. Her entire headspace is probably altered now. But then there's 3, you introduced what could be a very funny idea, Izzy turning into a genius, and then you just toss it in the garbage? What? Why? I mean, I love Izzy as is. If she ain't broke, don't fix her, but y'all did break her. The broken version of her could still add some hilarious possibilities to this season, and then you just don't do anything with those possibilities? Hell, what if she actually did invent time travel? Wouldn't that be an amazing idea for a season? To have Chris McLean steal whatever time machine she built, take a bunch of contestants to random time periods, and up the timeline? Oh my god, that would be sensational! And for any people playing revivals, take notes. But nope, we never know if that happens, and Izzy's just unceremoniously taken out of the game. Honestly, I find it to be an even bigger slap to the face than Lindsay's elimination. Dead serious. What I'm saying is, my thoughts on this scene are sloppy, but in general, negative. That's a new one for me. So, on to part 2 of the challenge, and what was Chris able to conjure up?
Just a little something I like to call the bobsled of death.
Well, a cool range joke was going to work its way in somehow.
Whoa! No way! This one's gonna hurt!
What is this thing?
In my line of work, a multi-million-dollar injury suit.
We can't afford bobsleds, so you're gonna ride longboards in teams of 2, bobsled style, down Chef's track and into the pool. Each team gets 3 runs. Fastest total time wins.
Yep, so while I give an honorary casualty count for the intern who tested this stunt,
my leg!
Oh, we're getting more of those, trust me. We cut back to Owen moping over Izzy's departure as he's asked to sing a song with Gwen as backup.
I miss the daytime when Izzy moves so slow. Oh.
I think the best thing I can call this song is competent.
I miss the way she'd always say goodnight.
That's it. Its reggae production is generic, but inoffensive. The lyrics are all about the kind of abusive relationship between the two.
By hoofing me in the Kiwis, I miss her smile and the way she liked to bite on my arm when there was trouble, which was all the time.
I mean, compared to Sierra's advances to Cody, it's downright normal, but that's it. And Gwen's backups don't add anything except for this commentary.
Oh my Izzy, my little Izzy, why'd I ever let you go?
Actually, she kinda dumped you.
She didn't dump me, I dumped her. It's a mutual dumping.
So, in short, the animation's fine, the song itself is meh. Next scene.
DJ, if only we were teammates. With Irene by your side, you'll be impossible to beat.
That's the plan.
So while we continue having the ending of this episode crammed down our throats before it's revealed, we get the contestants sliding down in pairs except for DJ. Actually, no, DJ counts 2 since he slides down with his fish twice, so I'm adding 17 to the counter on this one.
My leg!
And we see DJ is initially in the lead with the other teams just barely behind him.
Team victory ready! Let's go!
just look at how happy DJ is. You see how invested he is to playing this season now? Don't you just love how it's all gonna be taken away from him? Aren't you glad to see DJ's spirits completely shattered here? Seriously, why would you build up that DJ might actually get something nice for once only for it to be stripped away from him? Showing DJ excel last episode doesn't make the story more unpredictable, it just prolongs the inevitable. And if they did this for the sake of comedy, they should have picked a more unlikable character for this to happen to.
Gwen, here. After all the barfing, running, and digging, you need to keep your strength up.
DJ is the guy you give an honorary get-out-of-jail-free card to in every game of Monopoly. I mean, yeah, I've voiced complaints about DJ before, several actually, but most of that comes down to execution rather than the core of his character. The core of DJ I've always liked. The brick house with heart, the big lovable teddy bear, the mountain of a man with a soft side. Who the heck would hate a character with that template?
Hey everybody, what's up?
He's given some depth with his fear of heights and water, a redemption arc with swimming in the first season, good chemistry with the other contestants, a strong family relationship, and good cooking skills. Which also got taken away from him because all his character, apparently.
Their food was to die for.
Only problem was, people did. DJ, what were you thinking?
My issues with DJ come primarily from his worst traits being blown out of proportion. Like his whininess and his affection for his mother being a little too...
I can almost hear your sweet lullabies, Mama.
Bobby Boucher-ish. Otherwise, when you have a character built the way he is, it would take a special kind of failure to make me hate him. And honestly, I don't hate him, but I do hate what they did to him in both the last 2 seasons.
I'll help you man up and win this thing. You don't ask any stupid questions, and you split the prize with me.
I think DJ might have been a fan favorite from the first season, but they had no idea what to do with him for the next 2, so they made some throwaway arcs that would lead him to be eliminated before the halfway point, just to make things easy. And I'm sorry, that's not what I come to total drama for. This show tries pushing the envelope with character dynamics, outlandish challenges, weird locations, and DJ is just a pawn in the grand scheme of things, one who's currently having a good time that will inevitably lead to nothing. This episode can
kiss my fucking ass!
Yeah, what he said. So after we get this weird exchange.
Toast yet again. How's it feel?
I have no idea. I haven't been toasted yet.
What do you even do with that? Alejandro lets it slip with an airshot of DJ that his fish, Irene, is just a placebo effect and DJ's curse isn't actually gone.
You've seen how happy he is now. That's because I painted that symbol on Irene to fool him into thinking his curse was over.
Irene! No!
DJ, you weren't supposed to hear that. Sorry, my friend.
I don't really blame Alejandro for doing this. I mean, his team is in last place currently. This is actually a smart move. I'd even argue it justifies why he targeted Team Victory so often, because he needed an anti-shield of a team. You know, a team with more weaknesses than his, which he could manipulate.
Perhaps it would have been kind to show the girls' team which way to go, but you've seen my team. We need all the help we can get.
But just because it makes for good strategy doesn't make it a good storyline. Boston Rob's gameplay in Survivor Redemption Island is some of the best gameplay of all time on that show, but it also led to a boring season and his tribe was full of sheep anyways, so there you go. Disqualified? No, seriously, no referee is going to call foul on that one. Nothing? Chris is just going to let this slide, or what am I asking for? He's Chris McClane, he doesn't care, moving on.
You better stay here, Irene, just to be on the safe side.
Should I be questioning how after 2 times going on this death coaster that fish is still in the bowl? Or how there's still water in it? Or how the bowl's not broken even? You know what, I've got bigger problems, like this scene.
Look out! That doesn't even make sense!
I mean, I should be howling at this, but all I'm thinking about is how DJ would have obviously died from this. Yeah, Alejandro should be expelled, the challenge should be redone, and DJ should be brought to the infirmary with Gwen.
Incomplete! The men win, and Team Endless Non-Victory goes to the Elimination Room one last time.
Or none of that happens because this competition's a joke. DJ falls out of the plane, gets attacked by fire ants, and the episode ends. I would do the what happened after the drop of shame bit again, but I've been reserving that for times where the contestants dropped out of the plane from a high altitude and to make sure they landed safely. I don't really see the point in checking the exclusive clips where that's not something I have to verify. And we saw DJ drop safely, so what else is there to show? Fine. What exclusive clip do we have here?
Total Drama World Tour exclusive.
Oh yeah, sorry for the poor quality. This is again the best I could find.
Well, the electric shocks have stopped, but I still feel so weak. And when I close my eyes, all I see are eels, eels, and more eels. But I'm sure it's only temporary, nothing to go home over.
I would add that to the casualty counter if we actually saw the eels attack her again. But for whatever reason, we don't, mean this could all be in her head, so I don't feel the need to add to the counter here, and besides, this episode's caused me and the contestants enough pain. Yeah, that was Jamaica Me Sweat. I'll give credit, when it's funny, it's really funny, but I don't feel the comedy is the real focus here. It is the ending to the storyline, and it slaughters any attempts at subtlety to the point of being obnoxious. The attitude is arrogant, and it makes me feel like most of the first third of this season wasted my time. Like, why would I bother watching these early episodes when it's so obvious what's going to happen? Especially when it involves butchering characters, giving them a glimmer of hope, and then not following through. Add in the pointlessness of Izzy going home, a mediocre song, and the stupid title, and you have an episode that doesn't make me sweat, it makes me vomit. I'm done. How bad was this? The next episode is a charity-based telethon edition of The Aftermath, which wasn't able to get rid of Blaney, and I hate it less than this. Think about that.
Enough people standing know they can believe. Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. Everyone says that we buy stuff cheap, like 30 old Suzuki and rusted out cheap.